So today we're going to be going over 10 fragrances that burn my nose because they are so brutally strong and spicy. Now this is something I've talked about a number of times with the majority of the fragrances here in this video whenever I would bring them up in a video or a review. And again, to reiterate, especially when I first apply these, they're very strong, both in their performance, but also their delivery. They're also very spicy. And it's something where if I spray it and immediately assault my nose with it, it'll burn my nose like crazy. So with these, I really have to be careful, and probably the same with you guys as well. And that could also be a deterrent. So I encourage you that if you do decide to pick any of these up or try them out, to give them some space, let them air out. I don't want you to miss out on a beautiful fragrance because all of these here are amazing because it burned your nose. It was too strong and spicy when it first opened up. Give these some time, give them some space, then try them out, and I think you're going to like them a lot more. Unless you like your nose to be brutally assaulted by spices and strength and ultimate power when you first spray them on. If that's you, here you go, but if not, just let them air out. 10 fragrances, designer and niche, mostly designer though, nice mix of things here. There's gonna be something for everybody, and they will also be linked down below along with the Fragrance Net 35% off code down below the code link. You click it, it automatically applies. Let's get some. So this first fragrance, we have Paco Rabanne Pure XS. Nighttime version. So with this one, you get a big difference between the original Pure XS and this one, primarily being the spiciness. The spiciness is not all that prevalent in the original version, but this one here, you get ginseng, you get ginger right off the rip. Yeah, it's spicy up in the air, but especially when you apply it on your skin, that's when it is really, really strong, very spicy. I've talked about it before. I almost thought about scrubbing it off the first time because it was so strong. But once this one dries down, you pick up on notes of myrrh and caramel. So it does sweeten up, it does soften up, and it gets a lot more inviting. But like I mentioned, right out of the gate, this one is strong. It does not hold back, and it will definitely get your attention. So this next one is a fragrance that is very, very affordable given the smell. Like the price to quality and uniqueness ratio here is off the charts, and there aren't many out there like this one, and really like this whole line in general. From Lalique, this one is Encre Noir et la Extreme. So the original and the Sport are also really good. They're also very affordable. This one is also really good, also affordable, and happens to be the spiciest and the smokiest. Vetiver, incense, and cypress. It's a very dry, masculine, woody, smoky fragrance. And again, that opening especially will really, really wake you up. Now, one thing that I do like about these is the testers do come with a cap. So believe it or not, if this shows up on camera, I don't know, you just may have to take my word for it, but it does have text tester engraved into the bottle right here. It's gonna be hard to see, but it is there. This is a tester, so you can save a bit more money by going with a tester. There, I think you can see it. And still get a cap, so that's pretty cool. This is borderline niche smelling. Now, of course, the quality, as I mentioned, is very good for the price. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that it is niche quality though. That's a bit of a stretch given just the price. I mean, you can only do so much in terms of quality and sell a fragrance this cheap. So not necessarily niche quality, but niche smelling. This does not smell like your typical designer fragrance. So keep that in mind when potentially checking this one out. Again, it's affordable, so the blind buy risk factor is a bit lower because of that. But again, you have to be into woody, spicy, and dry fragrances to like something like this. If you are, give it a shot. But again, very strong up top. Next one, we have a niche fragrance from Parfums de Marly. This one is Godolphin. So I love that loud bottle. Definitely a fingerprint magnet, but definitely makes a statement. Leather, fruity notes, and saffron. It's a leather fragrance. It's essentially kind of their take on a Tuscan leather style scent, and it's done really well. Yeah, this is another one that takes your breath away almost. That leather is right there, man. And it is such an earthy, masculine, kind of dirty, rough, photorealistic leather. You get some of the fruity notes, that softens it up a bit, but definitely not kind of the main player. The main player is that leather right off the rip. There's some saffron in here, and that gives it a bit of a different, almost oriental leaning touch, but still, what this one is all about, from opening to dry down, is that leather note. If you're not a fan of leather, don't even think about this. It's so well done. I mean, even off the atomizer, it's dirty, it's earthy, it's masculine, it's strong, it's sexy. This is a man's fragrance. If you want to smell masculine, if you're not into the sweet tonka bean, creamy, unisex fragrances for men, go for something like this. It is expensive, but it is an investment that is worthwhile if you like fragrances like this one. You only need a couple sprays. It's going to be relatively versatile in the cold weather and is really a top-notch leather fragrance here. Next up, a new release. This one is Spicebomb Infrared. So really, for the most part, you could put any of the Spice Bombs, the EDT, the Extreme, this one, Spicebomb Fresh, if you happen to have that one. Now, the Night Vision's going a different direction, but any of the ones from the main line could be included. This one, of course, also. Cinnamon, tobacco, red fruits. I really like this version because of the red fruits note, which kind of gives it this sweetness, this different variety of sweetness that is a little bit tweaked in the original Spice Bomb. This does smell very comparable to the original, but again, we have small, subtle differences here, mainly being this kind of red fruit smell. Like, you actually pick up on that. It's a little bit fruity, but of course you get a bunch of the cinnamon, you get the tobacco in here, you get the pink pepper. It really smells nice, and again, it's the little things that count with this one. Little tweaks here and there that really kind of makes me gravitate towards this one. This is a fragrance that I like to pick up and reach for just to smell it because I enjoy it. You know, and I do like to wear it a lot as well. And again, to that point, when you first spray it on, spices galore. If you're not into that, be careful. If you are, check it out. Next up, we have another fragrance that is not going to be for everybody here. From Gucci, this one is Gucci Guilty Absolute. Really big fan of this one here. Such a unique fragrance. You know, one that is kind of like Encre Noir et la Extreme, where you know, it doesn't really seem like it would be a designer fragrance or come from a designer brand, but yet they were, you know, confident enough to put out fragrances like this. Gucci, you know, they've been putting out polarizing fragrances and some bestsellers, some big hits for years now. And of course, they're a ginormous brand where it literally doesn't matter what they do. People are going to buy it anyway, and if they hate on it, it doesn't affect them. So they really had the confidence to put this one out, and I'm glad they did. So it's another leather fragrance, leather, vetiver, cypress, but it is completely different than Parfums de Marly Godolphin. So if you're worried about similarities between the two, they're not. It's not going to be redundant. This one has even more of like an earthiness. Primarily, though, it's leather with a whole bunch of woods, all right? A whole bunch of woods. A lot more woods going on in this for something like Godolphin, which is basically leather forward all the way. This is very leather forward, but also very woods focused as well. They kind of mix together and balance out. It's another very masculine scent that's kind of dry and has a nice texture to it overall. And one thing I have to point out, because I do think it's just really clever, no matter which way you look at the bottle, no way is the wrong way. It says Gucci Guilty Absolute Pour Homme on the front and back. Nice touch. Going back to a cheapie here, we have F Black Pour Homme by Ferragamo. Lavender, black pepper, and tonka bean. This is one that's been in my collection for a very long time. Because of its price, it was one that I picked up when I was first starting out with fragrances for the most part. And, you know, 20, 25 bucks is easy for me to get back in high school. And so I picked this one up. Also at the time, it was catching a good amount of hype, rightfully so. I think it's a great scent. So it made sense for me to get this one. And really, right out of the gate, I enjoyed it. It was a lot different than the other things I was picking up, aquatics, freshies, that sort of thing. This is a very masculine, peppery, spicy fragrance that, again, was different than what I had before. But I really liked it from the beginning, still love it now. The lavender gives it a nice cooling freshness. You get the black pepper, you get some tonka bean in here, kind of giving it a nice base, but ultimately, right off the top, it is very spicy, very peppery. One that I think smells just incredible, especially at the price. Another one of those fragrances that is really some of the best bang for your buck out there. It's a strong performer, great for wintertime, very masculine, very well put together, kind of has an upscale classiness to it as well. This stuff right here is nice. This next one, we have Terre d'Hermès Parfum. So realistically, you could put just about any of them, except maybe Eau Très Fresh. It does open up a bit spicy, but not nearly as much as this one, the original, and Eau Intense Vetiver. For me, this one would probably take the cake because it's an even more concentrated, woody, and dry version of the original, which already takes all of that to the extreme, except for the concentration being an eau de toilette. The scent profile itself is no joke. But this one here, holy crap, I had to contain myself from coughing. Like, it's no joke stuff. Like, I'm not making this up. You smell this right off the bat, and then you try to talk, yeah, you can feel it. It's like you're about ready to cough when you inhale this stuff in. So woody, so dry, orangey, vetiver, very masculine, very woody, obviously. A lot of the fragrances here follow a similar footprint. Just a fragrance that will definitely take your breath away. It wakes you up in the morning, it's zesty, it makes you feel great, kind of burns a little bit. Strong, potent, powerful stuff right here. This is a smaller bottle. I believe you can either get this one or you can get the massive 200 ml. That's kind of ridiculous. This is all you need. Strong, strong stuff here that does pack a big punch. So we have the last niche fragrance for this video. I guess there's only 2 of them from Roja Parfums. This one is Danger. With a name like that, you expect this one to just show up and crush it, and it definitely does. Lavender, cumin, oak moss, and lemon are just a couple of the notes. Roja fragrances typically across the board have massive note breakdowns, this one included. When I smelled all of them, Danger was my least favorite off the bat. You know, I loved Vetiver, I love Scandal, of course Elysium, I loved in Creation E, but you know, Danger is one where I was like, I'm not so sure about that. Because when I first sprayed it on, I got that cumin note, very strong, very heavy. And of course the other spices as well. The oak moss was giving off a very strong woodiness. Basically, this was one that threw me for a loop. But you know what? There was something about this that left a little imprint in my mind. You know, I would always kind of think, you know, I'm going to go back and just smell that. I would pick it up, I'd smell it from the atomizer, I'd start to be like, okay, you know, I see, I'm detecting different things, you know, I would spray it more and test it. And long story short, this has become a fragrance that I've really respected a lot from Roja, and it has become one of my favorites. I wear this stuff way more than I initially thought I was going to. I love this stuff now. Very masculine, very strong, very traditional. One that will definitely make its presence known when you spray it on. If you want to grab one, I will link it down below to Twisted Lily. Use my code CHAOS10 for 10% off site-wide, always active. Second to last fragrance, Bentley Absolute, Cedarwood Papyrus, Pink Pepper are a few of the main notes. So I've talked about this one a lot because this is another one of the absolute hands down best bang for your buck fragrances out there. Wow. Wow. Absolutely wow. That's all I have to say. It's boozy, even though there's no boozy note. I still stick to that. It opens up boozy. It has the cedarwood, it has the pink pepper spiciness, the papyrus giving it a kind of a spiciness as well, actually. The cedarwood also doing that. The cedarwood is of a drier variety here. Overall, it's a dry, masculine, woody fragrance as well with spices. It opens up strong, loud, powerful, packs a big punch, and a small price tag, 30, 35 bucks. One of the best bang for your bucks out there. Get this one. Last up for this video, we have Bottega Veneta Pour Homme Extreme right here. Love everything about this one. I also think the note breakdown is really cool here as well. Leather, pine, tree, juniper berries, fir. It's a cool note breakdown. It's like you're out in the woods. You know, pine, tree, fir, woods. Very cool, very masculine. Another one that's on the more traditional side. You get some leather in here giving it spiciness. It does open up aromatic and spicy for sure. The pine needles type of smell you get from this one. Just all of the woods going on, that leather, it's almost a bit smoky. It's such a unique scent, and I've talked about this one before a lot of times here, or a few times I suppose on the channel. For me, I'm a big outdoorsman. I love the outdoors. It's kind of my reset button. And so a fragrance that can kind of transport me there, especially in the wintertime when everything's dead and cold outside, really means a lot to me. And this one does. It kind of just places me out in nature, out in the woods, just given the photorealistic woody notes, the pine notes, and everything going on in here. Smells like just a masculine dude who loves the outdoors, loves nature. This is a great scent, very high quality, and definitely opens up with a punch. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. That's 10 fragrances that burn my nose out because they open up so strong and they're so powerful. Let me know down below what are some fragrances that you would place into this category. And remember, if you want to grab any of these for yourself, I will link them down below to discounters along with that fragrance, that 35% off link. It's always down there in my videos. That's the surefire way to always get the 35% off code on FragranceNet. They change it all the time. If you just go to their website, they're trying to give you the 25%, sometimes even 20%, sometimes actually no coupon at all. They just won't apply one, and then you're paying these over retail marked up prices, which is just how their system works. Hit that link whenever you're ready to make a purchase, 35% off automatically. Go through and buy whatever you want. You're welcome. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.